All the amazing price action we've seen in the crypto market over the last few weeks makes it easy to forget that we're not out of the woods yet. Politicians and regulators are itching to clamp down on cryptocurrency, and the agency leading the charge is the SEC. The SEC has already gone after a handful of crypto projects, and the most high-profile of these is Ripple, the company that created XRP. There have been some surprising developments in the SEC's case against Ripple over the last few months, and these could have huge implications for XRP and the crypto industry as a whole. Today, I'm going to update you on the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, what it could mean for cryptocurrency, and how Coinbase could relist XRP. Before we head to court, there's a disclaimer I need to report. Nothing in this video is intended to guide your investment decisions. Education and entertainment are my only missions. I also can't give you legal advice, or else I'll end up in prison. Please contact a financial advisor and a lawyer before adjusting your crypto position. If this is the first time we meet, my name is Guy, and I think crypto is pretty sweet. That's why I dedicate my days to creating the highest quality crypto content that will ever come your way. Tokenomics, privacy, institutional studies, technical analysis, and a bunch of other topics that puts fiat fat cats on dialysis. If this is exactly what you came for, subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell to make sure you get more. Time is money, which is why I've left timestamps below that you can use to skip around if you're in a hurry. If you want to be a friend, you can watch until the end to help this video trend. That's the end of my decree. Let's see who's winning in the war between Ripple and the SEC. Because it's been a minute since I last covered the SEC's case against Ripple, I reckon a refresher is in order. At the end of December last year, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, charged Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen over their sales of XRP. This is because the SEC believes XRP is an unregistered security. Now, securities include assets like bonds, stocks, and that recently listed Bitcoin ETF. These assets must be registered with the SEC before they can be sold, otherwise these sales are illegal. An asset is considered to be a security by the SEC if it meets the 4 criteria of the Howey test. These are: an investment of money, meaning you use money to buy it; in a common enterprise, meaning the thing you're buying is the same for everyone buying it; with the expectations of profit, which is self-explanatory; coming from the efforts of a third party, meaning there's a person or company you can point to who is creating the expectation of profit. Now, every cryptocurrency meets the first 3 criteria. They require money to buy. The BTC in my wallet is the same as the BTC in your wallet, and we're all hoping to make it to the moon by buying these coins and tokens. The 4th criterion is where things get messy, because you can't always single out a third party who's creating that expectation of profit. Bitcoin is a simple example here, and it's why the SEC isn't going after BTC. The reason why the SEC is going after XRP is because it believes the expectation of profit from investing in XRP is coming from the efforts of Ripple and its executives. And because Ripple didn't register XRP with the SEC, its XRP sales were illegal. The crux of the SEC's argument is that Ripple, Brad, and Chris all marketed XRP as if it was a security, like a stock in a company, and raked in nearly $2 billion from selling XRP. The SEC wants that money, amongst other things, including banning Brad and Chris from participating in any token sales ever again. Now, the crux of Ripple & Co.'s initial counter-argument was that XRP is sufficiently decentralized, meaning that the expectation of profits is coming from multiple third parties besides Ripple, Brad, and Chris. Over time, the focus has turned to the fact that they were not given fair notice about their sales of XRP being illegal, sales which had taken place over the course of years where the SEC said nothing. What Ripple, Brad, and Chris want is for the lawsuit to go away, obviously, but also for XRP to be classified as a currency or commodity. Otherwise, it will be next to impossible to trade XRP in the USA. The SEC's lawsuit against Ripple has had its fair share of plot twists since it began, and I recommend going back and watching my last video about it before proceeding if you're not already fully up to speed, and that is in the top right. Before I go on, I need to give credit where credit is due. Some of the information I used to make today's video came from the Legal Briefs YouTube channel, which has been covering the SEC's case against Ripple very closely. I strongly recommend you check out Legal Briefs even if you don't care about XRP, and I'll leave a link to the channel in the description, along with a video about my other favourite crypto-related YouTubers. Shortly after my last video about the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, it was revealed the SEC had secretly been asking regulators overseas for any documents they have about Ripple and XRP to use in court. What's crazy is that this is actually allowed under US law, so long as those foreign regulators hand over their documents voluntarily. Ripple's legal team objected to this on the grounds that there is an obvious power imbalance between US regulators and overseas regulators, so the latter would feel pressured to comply with the request. The SEC responded by saying they had told Ripple earlier that they would be collecting these documents, though this intention was apparently worded in a purposely misleading way. In May, Ripple dodged a bullet when the court struck down the SEC's request to see the legal advice they had received about whether XRP is a security. If you watched my first video about the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, you'll remember that the SEC had managed to get its hands on a few messages from Ripple's legal counsel, where they warn that XRP could be a security. Now, the SEC was able to do this because Ripple's executives had shared this otherwise confidential information with third parties, and the SEC was hoping the judge would allow them to see the rest, given that this waives attorney-client privileges. However, the judge ruled that while Ripple did waive the attorney-client privilege in some cases, this doesn't give the SEC the right to go digging through Ripple's documentation. In June, Ripple demanded to depose former SEC Director Bill Hinman, and in early July, the court granted Ripple's request, which was a big win for Ripple to say the least. For your information, depose is legal speak for forcing someone to come to court and explain themselves. In this case, Ripple wanted Bill Hinman to be deposed because he is the SEC official who famously said that Ethereum isn't a security because it's, quote, sufficiently decentralized. Naturally, the SEC resisted the court's request on the grounds that Bill's statements were his personal opinion and nothing more, and that doing so would mean other SEC officials could be deposed in the future. The judge fired back by correctly pointing out that Bill's personal views obviously have an effect on the SEC's regulations, especially since Bill had specified that his opinion about Ethereum's security status arose after discussing it with SEC commissioners. Speaking of SEC commissioners, around the time the SEC approved Bill's deposition, SEC commissioners Hester Peirce and Elad Roizman issued an official statement about the lack of regulatory clarity for cryptocurrency. Recall that the crux of Ripple's counter-argument to the SEC's claims is that they were not given fair notice about XRP's status as a security. The joint statement by Commissioners Peirce and Roizman basically added credence to this argument, because if the SEC's crypto regulations are unclear, then how can it charge Ripple and company for selling unregistered securities? This lack of clarity is part of why the court approved Ripple's request to see some of the SEC's internal discussions about XRP back in April. But come late July, the SEC still hadn't coughed up a single page. What Ripple did get, though, is the deposition of Bill Hinman, who claimed that he had warned Ripple to stop selling XRP in 2020 because it was a security, which is obviously bad news for Ripple. However, Bill also mentioned that he had first met with Ripple officials way back in 2018, and it sounds like he had no issues with the sales of XRP back then. This further supports Ripple's fair notice defense. Now, these kinds of contradictory statements are common amongst SEC officials, and you can learn about what the current SEC commissioners believe about cryptocurrency using the link up there in the top right. Anyways, in August, the SEC asked the court to let them see all of Ripple's Slack messages, and this request was approved in early September. For those unfamiliar, Slack is a messenger platform that's used for business, and it sucks. Just my opinion. Now, the reason why the court approved the SEC's invasive request was because Ripple had initially been giving the SEC its Slack messages voluntarily. When the SEC asked to see the direct messages between Ripple's top brass, Ripple refused. This made the SEC believe that Ripple was trying to hide something, and the judge obviously agreed. With all these requests for information coming from both sides, both parties agreed to extend the discovery period until early November. Discovery period is legal speak for the amount of time that parties have to produce documentation, and this date had originally been set for the end of August. As Legal Briefs' Jeremy Hogan pointed out, this new discovery deadline means the lawsuit probably won't be settled until early next year at the soonest. Another thing that happened in September was SEC Chairman Gary Gensler's Senate testimony, which I covered in a video shortly afterwards. If you watched that video, you'll recall that Gary got grilled about the lack of regulatory clarity around cryptocurrency, and a few senators, namely Senator Toomey, seem to be acutely aware of what's going on with XRP. In case you didn't notice, Gary became chair of the SEC a few months after the SEC had begun its lawsuit against Ripple, specifically in April. Many XRP holders believed that Gary's appointment would help Ripple out in court, given that Gary taught courses about cryptocurrency at MIT and actually understood the technology, unlike many of his colleagues. It's clear that this is not the case, and this could be very bad news for Ripple, given that Gary is dead set on his vague assessments of which cryptocurrencies are securities or not, and XRP is almost certainly on his naughty list. I digress. Earlier this month, the judge struck down the XRP Army's request to join in as defendants in the SEC's case against Ripple. This is because the SEC argued they would be compelled to sue every single XRP holder looking to put themselves on the line. This aggressive stance might have something to do with the XRP Army's, quote, false statements on social media, which drew ire from the SEC back in June. The argument the SEC made was quite funny, and that was that the XRP Army's bullying would deter people from pursuing positions in public office. I reckon there wouldn't be any bullying if the people in public office were actually there for the public, but that's a topic for another time. Now, the good news is that XRP holders can still participate in the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, albeit in a limited manner. It basically allows them to share their opinions with the court, but not present evidence or anything else. At the time of shooting, the SEC has yet to hand over any documentation about its internal discussions regarding XRP, but a list of the documents it's putting together was revealed earlier this month. One of these documents is a memo titled, quote, Legal Analysis of XRP, which was circulated among SEC officials the day before Bill Hinman made his comments about Ethereum back in 2018. As Jeremy Hogan pointed out, there's only 3 things this memo can say. XRP is a security, XRP is not a security, or XRP's status as a security has yet to be determined. If this memo says XRP is a security, it would beg the question of why the SEC didn't raise this with Ripple earlier. If this memo says XRP is not a security, then Ripple is off the hook. If this memo says XRP's status as a security has yet to be determined, then this ambiguity adds weight to Ripple's fair notice defense. In other words, regardless of what that document says, it's really good for Ripple. The SEC isn't giving up just yet, however. It's now pushing Ripple to release transcripts of meetings between Ripple officials, including Brad and Chris. These, along with Ripple's Slack messages, will help the SEC build its case that the way Ripple, Brad, and Chris discussed XRP and handled XRP means that it was a security, and they might just find the evidence they're looking for. Not only that, but the SEC is scheduled to prove XRP is centrally controlled by Ripple from a technical angle, and in my personal opinion, it's quite clear that XRP is centralized in this manner. This could be the definitive piece of evidence the SEC needs to classify XRP as a security. But even if that happens, Coinbase could still relist XRP. Allow me to explain. Earlier, I mentioned that SEC Chairman Gary Gensler got grilled in front of the Senate in September. If you watched that hearing or my video about it, you'll remember that Gary said something damning about Coinbase. Specifically, Gary said that Coinbase and other cryptocurrency exchanges should come and register with the SEC, which seems to be his signature phrase these days. Gary said this because he believes many of the assets being traded on cryptocurrency exchanges are securities, and cryptocurrency exchanges must therefore register with the SEC by law. While it's unlikely that Gary will succeed in pressuring exchanges to do this, it is very much within the realms of possibility, especially since Gary is trying to get additional powers from Congress for the SEC to do stuff like that. If this happens, and it's a big if, then Coinbase would be able to relist XRP because it would be legally allowed to offer securities. And because XRP is a security according to the SEC, Coinbase can relist XRP. Capiche? Again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but XRP is one of the most traded cryptocurrencies in the world, and US cryptocurrency exchanges are missing out on that trading volume. I reckon they are looking at every avenue they can to relist XRP, and there's actually a second way they could do it. After my most recent video about Terra, I was surprised to find out that Terra's Luna coin was trading on Coinbase, even though it's likely a security in the eyes of US regulators due to its relative centralization. As far as I can tell, the reason why Coinbase can get away with listing Luna is because it hasn't listed native Luna. Instead, it's listed wrapped Luna, an ERC20 token on Ethereum. This is something that I've seen Coinbase do with other cryptocurrencies that are almost certainly securities, and I'm almost 100% convinced that it's a loophole for listing otherwise unlistable cryptos. If I'm correct, this means Coinbase could list XRP as a wrapped ERC20 token on Ethereum, something that should be possible using Flare Network, which is designed to bring smart contracts to XRP. This is something the XRP army should look into, and I'll leave a link to my video about Flare Network in the description if you need it. You're welcome. Now, to wrap things up, I want to take a quick look at the XRP price chart to see where it's headed. Although XRP saw a nasty dip in mid-April, it quickly recovered after Ripple announced its plans to go public after the SEC lawsuit ends. XRP crashed with the rest of the crypto market in May and recovered in early August after Ripple announced it had partnered with a South Korean remittance payments provider as part of its Asia push. XRP wiped out most of those gains in early September and saw a small bounce after Ripple announced it was helping Bhutan pilot its central bank digital currency. Prices continued to decline, but another bullish announcement came just in time, and that was Ripple's $250 million NFT fund, which I covered in one of my weekly crypto reviews. You can find the most recent one up there in the top right. Now, the nasty drop XRP saw in early September seems to correspond with the court's decision to allow the SEC to search through Ripple's Slack messages, and if this is the case, that's a bad sign. When it comes to where XRP is today, it's still not looking good. Zooming out, you can see that XRP is forming either a symmetrical or descending triangle on the daily chart, depending on how you draw your lines. This is quite scary because these triangle patterns can break up or down. Note, the side of the triangle determines the degree to which prices will rise or fall. If XRP's triangle pattern breaks up, it will revisit its recent high of $2. If XRP's triangle pattern breaks down, however, it looks like XRP could be headed much lower. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just reading the charts, folks. Now, oddly enough, this do-or-die date seems to fall on the final day of discovery in the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. If Ripple gets wrecked by the SEC, it would not be good for XRP, to say the least. However, if Ripple manages to come out on top, this would set a very important precedent for other cryptocurrencies that find themselves on the wrong end of a lawsuit from the SEC. As Jeremy Hogan pointed out back in May, because the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is being fought in a higher court, if Ripple can successfully argue its fair notice defense, this will create a precedent for any crypto lawsuits happening in lower courts, meaning they'll have an easier time using the same defense. Now, on that note, there are also higher courts that Ripple could appeal to even if the SEC wins its current case, so it's not all doom and gloom if that happens, at least in theory. In any case, the war between Ripple and the SEC is far from over, and with damning revelations being brought to light from both sides, it's really anyone's guess as to who will win at this point in time. One thing's for sure, though, and that's that the information that's unearthed in this lawsuit will change the cryptocurrency industry forever. That's all for today's video, folks. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving me a like before you go. And please, if you have any predictions as to what will happen with Ripple versus the SEC, leave a comment down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell too. It'll help my next video find its way to you. If you're bored with nothing to do, you can check out Coin Bureau clips for behind the scenes and original flicks. You can also follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and get juicy crypto news updates on Telegram. The only thing better is my weekly newsletter, where I unpack the knowledge you need to turn your red portfolio into a sea of green. Once you've made it big, let the world know that watching the Coin Bureau is what you did by repping the brand across the land with a beanie, hoodie, sweater, or tee. All of these goodies and many more are waiting for you in the description. Get them while they're hot. Thanks so much if you're still here. Your dedication fills me with cheer. I'll see you all next year. Just kidding. Same place, same time tomorrow. Never fear.